All right, everybody, welcome back to another video here on the Dividend Doggo Show on YouTube, and I'm going to be bringing you in for the weekly portfolio review. We are closing out August here. It is August 27th, Saturday morning. The market's closed, and absolutely rough ending to the week. No pun intended there. Yeah, that's a dog joke. So it's hard to decompress what happened with the market this week, but like, I swear to God, every time the Fed talks, the market just crashes. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty right away. You can see this is what the portfolio looks like overall. We've had a lot of new subscribers and I've answered a lot of questions about when the portfolio was started, so I'm going to cover that really quickly here. But this portfolio was started, you can see here, August 6th of 2019. Started with about $15,000, and we kind of built up this portfolio and kind of went from there. Now, I've gone into how this portfolio is funded and how we built this up over this time frame, mainly through real estate assets and cash flow, as well as a very high savings rate between, for 2020, I think it was 42% savings rate. And then we were like 36, 37 for 2019, I think, something like that. But obviously with the pandemic, like, we didn't do any trips, no vacations, no big spending. Our computers are all relatively old. Our car is paid off. Drive a 2012 Honda. You know, it's been paid off for 6 years, 7 years now. Nothing crazy expense wise. We live not frugally, but we live well within our means. We have upgraded our quality of life in 2021. We bought a very nice house, some land outside the city, so that we could kind of get some peace and quiet, and, you know, hopefully it'll be a great place for us to kind of grow and expand and, you know, live out this next segment of our life with 3 puppies, which is the most stressful part of my life right now. So let's go into this is what the portfolio looks like overall. You can see a couple things are in the red overall right now. Como Money, monthly dividend stocks, both in the red right now. Overall, though, you can see that we're still in the green for market gain overall. We're still earning dividends. We got $723 of dividend income. This came into the portfolio from from Citigroup this past week. So let's jump in. Let's look at the week here. Now, the week we were in the red, $18,676, but we did earn $44 in dividends, so it was actually $18,720 for market being in the red. And you can see that we were actually at 152 on the 25th, and then the 26th 136. So almost all of that is one day. A huge chunk, $16,000 was one day. That's for Friday, Friday the 26th. That's because we had Jerome Powell give us some, not really update, because it's the same thing he's been saying over and over again. We're going to hike interest rates until we get inflation under control. And the market just didn't respond well to that at all. And you can see here, just in the one day, like, almost everything was in the red. So overall, this isn't bad in my opinion for me, because I have a very long time horizon. You know, I've got 20 years until we can even have access, you know, to traditional 401k withdrawals, you know, to almost 30 years till actual retirement age, where you get your full benefits for Social Security. You know, that's a really, really long time to think that, you know, the majority of my life, like, this is kind of like the halfway point, right? In the American ideal of what work should be, but we don't want to do that. My wife and I want to be able to retire early, and we want to be able to live a pretty comfortable lifestyle where our focal points of stress are not predicated on our personal finances. We want to be able to have computers, have, you know, nice TV, surround sound system. We do a lot of at-home gaming. So new consoles and video games are expensive. Just one of those things that you'd want to be comfortable when you're thinking about going into retiring early. And a lot of people are like, well, I could never retire because I'd be bored. I have like literally a backlog of video games that's like 150, 200 games long that are games that I actively want to go through and play and beat. So yeah, that's not really going to be an issue for us, right? We want to be able to adopt senior dogs and have that as, a focal point for our life. And we want to get there by having assets that produce passive income, or what is as close to the meaning of passive as possible. If we hand off, real estate to property managers, stuff like that, once we get to that point, that's the type of passive I mean when I say passive income, where you're having to do very little or minimal work, maybe a couple hours a month, to be able to produce a livable income. And doing that via dividends is one of the ways that you can accomplish that task. Doing it via real estate is another way. So we are in both of those pretty deeply at this point. We've built up a fairly large portfolio to bridge the gap to 401k funds, which, we have about a little bit more in 401k funds than we actually have in taxable right now, but that is rapidly kind of we're favoring the taxable just to make sure that we can bridge that gap till we can access those 401k funds and hopefully extend out until we can get to that social security buffer where you get the full retirement age benefit. I believe it's like 67 and a half, something like that. So obviously if you're around the world in another country, your expenses may be completely different than ours, but right now I haven't really talked about it that much, but our monthly budget for expenses with the home, with taking care of 3 dogs, providing treats and high quality food, and feeding ourselves, keeping up everything is somewhere in the ballpark of $6,200 a month with insurance and all the things. And that's with buying a new house and land and stuff like that. So getting to that point, that means that we need to have somewhere in the ballpark of about $70,000 in income to maintain that lifestyle. So that's why the goal of this portfolio is to produce about $80,000. And it's not just this portfolio. When I say that, I mean our whole portfolio, our real estate assets, this dividend portfolio that you're seeing here in M1 Finance. It's all encompassing when we get to the point where we're no longer working a W-2 job, so that we can transition over. So let's take a look and see. As you can see, every single sector was down. Just about every stock was down except Altria. Altria is the only one up here for the consumer pie. But Home Depot down 7%. Home Depot is going to be getting into that buy territory soon if it keeps coming down like this. It is now officially below, with this change, my actual cost basis on the stock, which I don't have that many shares, but it is a very expensive stock. So if it keeps coming down, it's going to be looking at a bigger buy opportunity for newer investors or people who really want to add it to the portfolio. Now, this isn't the list of what exactly I'm going to buy in the future here, but it is things that I'm keeping on my radar. I love Costco. I love Home Depot. If these things keep coming down like this, that is going to be one of the best opportunities to buy. Like Costco here is, I believe, yeah, it is right. It's $100 above my cost basis on my shares. Costco is one of the most expensive stocks that you can kind of buy right now. But if your horizon is 20, 30 years, if you're in your 20s, Costco's just, it's looking good. It keeps coming down. You just got to keep watching and waiting if you're looking for that jump in and buy point. The finance sector overall kind of got smashed at the end of the week there. T. Rowe down 5%, Citigroup down 5%. Citigroup's dividend just came in, and it is right above my cost basis still by about $1. I'm thinking about dropping the dividend right back in there. Actually, looking at this, with a 4% dividend yield, it's hard to not want to go ahead and drop that $723 in and pick up some more shares. That's pretty phenomenal. JP Morgan down 3.3, Bank of America down 3.5 on OZK. Overall, almost everything for finance was pretty wrecked at the end of the week here. Como Money, SCHD. We got an SCHD payment coming up next month. I'm super excited for that because it's getting close to about $1,000 quarterly that this is providing the portfolio and dividend income. And if SCHD keeps going down for the next couple weeks, I'm over here rubbing my hands together like that guy in the meme, let's go make some money, because those dividends are going to compound and buy extra income, and it's just right around the corner here. So I'm kind of hoping that everything keeps going down a little bit for the next couple weeks as a bunch of dividend income rolls in. And let's look here. We got AbbVie 3.3 down and Johnson Johnson about 2% down. I'm really glad I took some money out of AbbVie and VST. VST actually not down that much this week, considering how much everything else is down. Like even Duke was down about 4%. VST is only down 1% this week. This one, I want to buy back in, but I want to buy back in somewhere in the 18-19 range. I think it just shot up too quickly. Then we got monthly dividend stocks, BST down about 3%, which is kind of about what the majority of the portfolio was down on average. So that's pretty wild overall. I'm definitely happy with adding more to this position, and it's current state at 35. So we'll get a little dividend payment here in a couple of days. It'll hopefully pick up a couple shares. Pick up a couple shares of BST at the end of the month here. Keep compounding that and keep building it up. So overall, pretty wild week, down 3.3% total for the week, but dividends are still going to keep coming in and reinvesting and buying more future dividend income. And that's kind of just the plan with this type of market. You just have to decide that you're buying in what you're going to buy, and you just got to hold and continue to look forward to the future, because those dividends are going to continue to keep going up. Altria gave us a 4.4% dividend raise, which is right around, I believe, for $46, I think, in forward income for the portfolio, which is absolutely amazing. That's a full share of extra compounding that will do if it is reinvested into that stock. So that's absolutely wild. In gaming news, there's some rumors going around that EA may be purchased. That's absolutely wild. I'll be very curious to see if that actually happens or not. That's such a big company, with Activision potentially going to Microsoft. It's not completed yet. That'll absolutely be wild. These big game powerhouse studios that have been producing games for decades are getting bought up by these massive tech companies, and it's just going to be interesting to see what the wave of the future holds for all the game developers that are under the umbrella for those companies, and see kind of how they end up doing what we get in the future. Absolutely amazing. If there's something you're looking forward to in entertainment news, or in the stock news, are you excited for these game studios to be getting bought up by the tech companies? That's kind of like how I feel about it. Is I've watched Microsoft scoop up some of the best game studios that I've loved for years and years. Obsidian and In Exile. They've got Rare. Like, there's just so many things that they're getting. It's absolutely wild. I'm pretty excited to see how all these companies go about what they're going to be producing, how they're going to be making games for the future. Signed up for Xbox Game Pass for the last month, and I've been checking out games through that. Pretty interesting to see what, that mechanic of the subscription model giving you access to all these video games and them adding games every single month, and you're basically paying a fraction of the cost for a AAA game, but you're getting access to 50 to 100 pretty high quality games, which is pretty interesting. What do you think of those models? Are you at all interested in that market at all? If you don't play games at all, are you curious about the money that's going to bring, the extra cash flow for companies like Microsoft and Amazon and Apple? Because I'm just waiting to hear the news that Apple's going to be buying some huge game studio and making additional product. I think that there's a good chance that we end up with a couple of these massive players, and then everyone else is just small indie companies. So let me know down below in the comments section if you're curious about anything like that. If you have any thoughts or insights into the finance behind video games and the addition of them to these massive tech companies that are in the market right now, let me know what you think. And I thank you all for watching. I hope that every single one of you has a fantastic weekend this weekend. Looking forward to September. It's right around the corner. I can't believe we're near the end of the year here, but this is Dividend Doggo, and I am signing out. Have a great weekend.